Greetings, math fans. All right, so this is our second day of factoring, and the first day we did greatest common factor, which actually is going to come into play when we do this next topic, and this next topic is called factoring by grouping. Okay, so I'm going to write this out, factoring by grouping. Now I'm just going to start out with kind of like a midway into factoring by grouping, okay? Just to kind of get you guys used to finish solving the problem, and then I'll give you like a normal problem. I'll tell you exactly how to go about solving it. But I just want to start off with a problem. If it looks like this, after you're doing part of the problem, it's going to look like this: x times x minus 2 plus 4 times x minus 2. All right, so here's the deal. You notice you have an x minus 2 and an x minus 2 here? And then you also have the x and the plus 4 here. So these each have an x minus 2. That x, this x has a 4, or an x minus 2, and this 4 has an x minus 2. So it's, not to make it too complicated, but technically what you're doing is you're finding the greatest common factor for each of these terms. And actually the greatest common factor for each of these terms is x minus 2. So as long as you kind of follow along here, you're going to be good to go. This is how it's factored. I'm going to take those, the x and the 4, so the x plus 4, and that's going to be in one set of parentheses. And so that's, let me highlight that, that's the blue. And then the part in the red is going to be in the other set of parentheses, so that's going to be x minus 2. And we're actually done with the problem. That's it. That's the answer to this problem, is x plus 4 and x minus 2. Now, what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to distribute that and go, oh, let's do FOIL. Guys, if you do FOIL, you're not factoring, you're actually foiling it and taking factoring away. So remember, guys, whenever it's factoring, factoring means you're going to have parentheses. Okay, you guys have to know that. Factoring means parentheses. If you take away the parentheses, then it's no longer factored. Okay, you got to know that. Really, really important. But anyway, so that's the deal. It's x plus 4 times x minus 2. Okay? So let me just do another problem here. Really, this is not difficult to understand what I'm doing here. So if I have 3 parentheses a plus 7 plus b parentheses a plus 7. They both, again, have a plus 7. So they both have a plus 7, and this has a 3 and plus b. So literally what you're going to do is you're going to do the blue part first times the red part after that. That's all you do. So it's literally going to be 3 plus b times a plus 7. That's your answer to that problem. Okay? It's pretty easy. Okay? So we'll do one more just to kind of show you, but it's again, it's super easy. If I have x times a plus b plus y times a plus b, your answer is going to be, and I'm gonna underline this stuff again here, that and that. So your answer is going to be x plus y times a plus b. Pretty easy. Okay, one last one here. 2x times y plus z minus 3a times y plus z. Okay, so there it is. There's the 2x minus 3a, 2x minus 3a, and times y plus z. Okay, and again, notice here, right, these are, right, this is the same here, and this is the same here. They have to be the same, and this is the same. If that wasn't y plus z and y plus z, or this wasn't a plus 7, or that wasn't a plus b, the same thing, you couldn't do the problem. Okay, but it'll always be that way when we do grouping. Always, 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 it'll be the same. And then basically, you just look at the other part, and that's one set of parentheses. This is one set of parentheses. And the other set of parentheses is the y plus z. Okay? Okay, so once you at least understand that, now let's get on to a normal problem here. All right, so basically the problem starts out like this. First of all, let me talk about a couple things. It's going to be 4 terms. Okay, this is actually important. That's how you recognize a grouping problem. Okay, so 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course each term is separated by either a plus or minus. Okay, so it's 4 terms. Got to have that. 4 terms. Okay, so let's just start out here with 2x minus 2y plus ax minus ay. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to split this in half. And again, I'm going to start out with kind of an easy problem here. It's already in order for you, but I'm going to split this in half. And that's how you do it. You have 4 terms, so you split it 2 and 2. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the greatest common factor. So let me write this on the side here. I'm going to find the GCF for each side. Okay? And so the greatest common factor for the 2x minus 2y, of course, you guys should say it's 2. So I'm going to divide each of these by 2. I'm going to get 2 times x minus y. Okay? And then what's my greatest common factor for the second side? Do you guys agree it's a? So I'm going to divide both sides by a. And I'm going to get, it's plus a because it's positive a, that's important, plus a, and then it's x minus y. And notice, math fans, these are the same. Okay, and they better be the same. If they're not the same, and sometimes what happens is they're not the same because the sign is off by, instead of it's a plus, it's a minus, then you got to factor out like a negative a. Okay, so basically what we're going to do now is we're going to do what I just taught you at the beginning of this unit here is you're going to finish your answer, and your answer is going to be 2 plus a times x minus y. Right, because remember I did that and that, right? So x minus y is in one set of parentheses, and 2 plus a is in the other set of parentheses, and you're done with the problem. Okay, that's not bad. All right, let's do a couple more. Okay, so we'll talk about ordering in a second here. Let's just do one more problem. So it's x squared plus 3x minus 2xy minus 6y. Okay, so I'm going to split it down the middle. Make sure you keep the sign, right? That sign belongs with that guy right there, okay, the negative 2xy. Okay, so that's kind of important. Okay, anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the greatest common factor. Greatest common factor is x, so I'm going to divide both of them by x. And I get x times x plus 3. And the greatest common factor with this is, well, you might want to say 2y, but you got to make these the same sign. See how this is negative? If I just take out a 2y, it's going to stay negative, and this is a positive here. So I'm going to take out a negative 2, and it's got to be negative 2y. So if I divide each of these by negative 2y, you get, in parentheses, left over, x, and then minus 3. Or x, sorry, I got negative 2y, x plus 3. Okay? If this is not the same, guys, if this is not the same as this, you didn't do your greatest common factor correctly. Okay, you didn't factor something out correctly because that's how grouping works. That has to be the same. Okay, and then once you're done with that, your final answer is just x minus 2y times x plus 3. Done with the problem. Okay, that's not bad. All right, so let's talk a little bit about ordering some of these together. Okay, so first of all, we said you need to split it in half, but sometimes it's not ordered correctly. So what you need to do is you need to group. That's why they call this grouping. You need to group with a greatest common factor for each pair. Okay, so when you have those two terms, you got to have a greatest common factor. And then what you want to do, so once you do that, once you group them, your coefficients, basically they're going to be smallest to largest. And what I mean by coefficients is like if I have a 3x squared plus 2x, this is a coefficient, guys. There's a 3 and that 2. Okay, so you would arrange this as 2x plus 3x squared. And it's important to do that because if you do that for both the terms, then you're going to get the right answer. You're going to get the same answer, and it's just I'll show you as we do the problem here. Okay, but you don't need to order it from the smallest to the largest coefficient, not exponent, coefficient. All right, so let's do a problem, and let's see. We'll do 2x minus yz plus 2y minus xz. So here's the deal. If I split this in half right now, that would be bad because look, I have 2x minus yz. There's no greatest common factor for either side, the right side or the left side. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pair things together. Now you're saying, well, how do you know what to pair together? See this 2x and this 2y? Don't they both have a 2? Okay, that's good. So 2x plus 2y. And you notice that the other pair they both have a z. Okay, so minus yz minus xz. All right. Now the numbers happen to be the same. There's 2 and the 2 and the y, and this is a 2 and this is a 1. So we're kind of good to go here. We don't really have to do anything fancy. So what I'm going to do, once it's ordered like this, then you want to draw a line. And you want to group, so you group the left and the right together. I'm going to do greatest common factor. This is what we did before. So 2 parentheses x plus y. And remember, this has to be the same sign. So I'm going to factor out a negative z. Okay, so I get negative and I get y plus x. Okay, now if you notice, guys, your y plus x is the same as x plus y. Okay, and then you see a negative here. So again, there's a couple little tricks here. But guys, if there's a negative, put a 1 there. You need a number. You have to have a number. You got to have a number here and you got to have a number here. If you don't have a number in both places, you can't do the problem. And what do I factor out of here? I factor out a negative 1z. So negative z. Sorry, let me put the z in there. Okay, so my final answer to this problem is 2 minus z, or 1z, it's fine. 2 minus z times x plus y. Okay, now again, that could be y plus x. This can't be z minus 2 though. That's different. Okay, it's like saying 3 minus 2 is not the same thing as 2 minus 3. But if it's 3 plus 2, that's the same thing as 2 plus 3. That's the same. That is not the same. Okay, so real quickly, guys, let me get rid of this part right here. Let's just say you didn't group it that way, because you could have grouped it another way. Let me go back to the original problem. What if I said I want to group these two together because they both have an x, and these two because they both have a y? Well, watch what happens. You're going to get the same answer. That's kind of the nice thing. So I'm going to get 2x minus xz. Okay, and I'm going to get negative yz plus 2y. Now what's wrong with this to start out? The 2x should be on the other side. So it should be negative xz plus 2x and then negative yz plus 2y. Should be from smallest to largest. Okay? Now we're good to go. So what's our greatest common factor for the first one? Well, I'm going to factor out a negative x here because there's a negative in front there and I don't want that negative. So I get negative x and I get z plus 2. And what's the greatest common factor here? Greatest common factor is Actually, it's supposed to be z minus 2. Z minus 2. Okay? I'm going to factor out a negative y because I want that sign to be negative there, right? This guy right here. So if I do that, I get basically z minus 2. What? Here it is, man. We got the same thing. There it is, z minus 2. So we have our answer is negative x minus y times z minus 2. And that's your grouping. Okay? And so here's the deal. If you look at the difference between these two, they're actually the same. Okay? It looks weird, but see how this has got a whole bunch of negative. This has got a negative here, a negative with this one, a negative with this one. They're opposites. So if I change all the negatives, basically I get the same thing. It's kind of weird to see that, but I get this is the same thing as this. It really is. Okay? It's just negatives. It's almost like saying negative 3 times negative 1 or 3 times 1. You're going to get a positive 3 and a positive 3 no matter what. Okay? So it doesn't matter the order. That was kind of a complicated problem. But let me do a couple more here. All right, so the next one's going to be here we go. 3b minus 2a minus 15bx plus 10ax. All right, so understand there's no greatest common factor here. So we got to link this with something else. So I'm gonna do this one, these two together, and these two together, because this one's got an a and that one's got an a, and this one's got a b and that one's got a b, and that one's also got a 3 and 15 and 2 and 10. So that's kind of nice too. All right, so let's write it out. It's going to be 3b minus 15bx minus, and we're going to go minus 2a plus 10ax. All right, remember I said coefficients from smallest to largest, and it is. Okay, it's 3 and 15 and 2 and 10. And don't worry about the negatives. Negatives are not an issue here when you're talking about coefficients. Okay, so I'm going to split it in half. And I'm going to factor out a 3b. And so I get 3b times, and that's a 1 minus 5x. And I'm going to factor out a negative 2a. Okay, and then if I do that, I get negative 2a, and then I get 1 minus 5x. Okay, so my answer is 3b minus 2a times 1 minus 5x. Okay, it's not bad, right? Okay, cool. Got a couple more to do, but they're all pretty much the same stuff, guys. Let's see, 4bx minus 3ax minus ab plus 12x squared. Or 12x squared. Okay, so what do you want to group together? Let's do these. How about that one and that one? All right, because that one's got a and a, and that one's got an x and x, and that's a good grouping. So 4. You really can't make a mistake. As long as you look for greatest common factor, you're good. So 4bx plus 12x squared, and then negative 3ax minus ab. All right, so the only one I really need to reorder, which I should have written right away, is that second one. So 4bx plus 12x squared, and I'm going to rewrite this negative ab minus 3ax. Okay, so let's factor out, for the first one, let's factor out a 4x. So 4x and 4x. So 4x, and I get b plus 3x. And I factor out a negative a. So negative a. And I get rid of this little negative here. I get negative a times b plus 3x. What? What? It's the same thing. Okay, better be. It's always going to be the same thing, guys. Okay, so your answer is 4x minus a and b plus 3x. That's your final answer. Okay? All right, last problem, because again, it's practice. You got to do your homework, got to practice this stuff. So last problem here is going to be 6x cubed minus 9x plus 2x squared minus 3. Okay, so let's group. You got to, again, be a little picky about this, right? What goes with that 3? Well, I can do this. I can do this. The 6, because that's the greatest common factor, and this. What you can't do is I can't do it in the order it is now, because what's your greatest common factor with this guy? Okay, it's not really greatest common factor with 2x cubed minus 3. Though I could do that. So we'll save that for a second here. So let me get rid of that red, and I'll just kind of show you, like I said, if you did choose that. So I chose the ones in black here. So we're going to go negative 3 plus 6x cubed, and then plus 2x squared minus 9x. Okay, keep it, remember, always from smallest to largest coefficient. Okay, so when we take out the first one, I'm going to take out a negative 3. So I get negative 3 times 1 minus see, is that even going to work out nicely for us? Something's kind of goofy here. What do I get? 1 minus 2x cubed. Yeah, that's something weird. So what's going to happen here is, actually, this is not going to work out. So maybe that's kind of a good thing to show you that, right? I get that, and then if I factor for this guy, I get an x. So I factor an x out of here, and I get 2x minus 9. So that wasn't actually a good choice. Okay? So it doesn't work all the time, but you have to just make a better choice. We got to group something different together. So let's take a look at something else to group, which is actually what I even said in the beginning. How about we group this guy together with this guy? Because they have, see how this one is x cubed and x squared, and this is a 9 and 3. So let's do that on the side here. So it's going to be, and I'm going to put it in order, 2x squared plus 6x cubed, and then minus 9x minus 3. That's actually going to be a little bit nicer. So I factor a 2x squared out, and so I get 2x squared, and I get 1 plus 3x. And here I want to factor out a negative, right? So I'm going to factor out a negative, basically negative 3. So I get negative 3, and then I get 3x plus 1. Okay, now I want to point out a mistake that I made, which is okay. You know, teachers make mistakes a little bit too. Some of the rules. Notice this is 3x plus 1, and this is 1 plus 3x. Now, if I would have ordered this correctly, remember I told you, you should have written negative 3 minus 9x. If you ordered it like negative 3 minus 9x, you would be good to go. It would be 1 plus 3x. You'd have the exact same thing. Okay? But here's the deal. You guys agree 3x plus 1 is the same as 1 plus 3x? So I really can say 2x squared minus 3, and that 1 plus 3x is the same as 3x plus 1. So I can just write like that. It doesn't matter the order. Okay, and that's your final answer. So that was kind of an interesting problem. It didn't really work out too nicely for the original one, but it worked out at the end. So the deal for this, math fans, is you've got to, most of the time it's just going to be a pretty simple grouping. It really is. Okay, you want to group the greatest common factors together, and then it's going to work out kind of nicely for you. Okay, a lot of times they say actually put it in descending order. So if I had, going back to the original problem here, if I had this original problem, if I put it in descending order, which you guys should know that, standard form, you would get 6x cubed plus 2x squared minus 9x minus 3. Okay, so if you got this as your starting problem, most of the time that works out pretty well, because then there's the greatest common factor. So watch, if I actually did this one, I'm going to do 2x squared plus 6x cubed and negative 3 minus 9x. That's going to give us kind of a nice answer. We're going to factor out a 2x. Here, I'm going to move this down a little bit. I'm going to factor out a 2x squared. So you get 2x squared times 1 plus 3x. And I'm going to factor out a negative 3. So you get negative 3, and then I get 1 plus 3x. So you get the same thing. So 2x minus 3 and 1 plus 3x, or 3x plus 1, which is, it should be 2x squared, sorry, 2x squared. Okay, so this guy and this guy are the same thing. Okay, so a lot of ways to group it. There really are. Sometimes, like I said, descending order is kind of a helpful way when you're doing grouping. Okay, so that's kind of a long video, but grouping is probably one of the toughest of all the different types of factoring, but you got to use it for 4 terms. 4 terms, you group it to get rid of the greatest common factor, and then that's how you group it. So you pull it apart, and then you combine those. You combine these guys together, and then you combine these guys together, and you get your final answer. Okay, that's it, math fans. Hopefully you guys are good to go with that, and you have an outstanding day. Adios. Goodbye.